Hey guys, how you doing? Today you're gonna learn about key grammar with two common tenses, present simple and present continuous. Let's have a look at three present simple forms including affirmative, negative, and question. It's quite easy to make sentences with these three forms as long as you understand them completely. First, let's check out the affirmative form. Remember there are two groups of subjects, plural and singular. Some subjects such as I, you, we, they are in the plural group, while he, she, it are in the singular one. The way verbs are used can be changed according to whether the subjects are singular or plural. Here is an example. I, you, we, they from Cairo. Let's say we want to use the verb come in this case. Since the subjects I, you, we, and they are plural nouns, we're going to keep the verb come in its base form, which means we don't change anything. However, with the singular subjects like he, she, and it, we need to add s behind the base form of the verb come. Then the sentence is complete. It's just that simple. One more thing you need to remember. Depending on the verbs, we may need to add s, es, or ies behind them. For this particular example, we only need to add s. Next, if you like to switch a sentence from its affirmative form to negative form, it's also quite simple. Let me show you how to do it. First, you just need to write the sentences which are the same as in their affirmative form. Remember, you must keep the main verb in their base form. Hence, you just use the base form of the main verb come in this case without changing anything. Then you only need to add do not or don't in case of plural nouns and does not or doesn't in case of singular nouns. Piece of cake, right? Finally, I'm going to show you how easy it is to use the question form. One more time, all you need to do is just to write down the sentences which are the same as in their affirmative form. Remember, you must keep the main verb in their base form as well. Since these are questions, you must put question marks at the end of the sentences instead of periods. After that, you only need to add do right in front of the sentence in case of plural nouns and does in case of singular nouns. Then it's all done. Okay, now you know all three forms of the present simple. Do you know when you should use it? Well, we often use the present simple to describe something that is always true or something that is permanent. For example, children learn languages more quickly than adults. That is the fact. So we need to use the present simple in this case. Let me give you another example. Hanan lives in Muttra. If you have been following this course from the beginning, I'm sure you know who Hanan is. She lives in Muttra and that is the reality. So we need to use the present simple in this case as well. Secondly, we also use the present simple to describe an activity that happens regularly. For instance, I do my homework every Friday evening. The phrase every Friday evening shows something is happening regularly. In this case, it happens every Friday evening, not just 1 or 2 days. Finally, we use the present simple with some particular verbs which express thoughts and feelings. Those verbs are believe, know, remember, think, feel, suppose, love, like, want, dislike, hate, prefer, etc. I'm going to give you one example. I love my city. I wouldn't say I am loving my city. With these specific verbs, we use the present simple. Next, let's have a look at three present continuous forms including affirmative, negative, and question. Now let's check out the affirmative form. We're going to have three groups of subjects because each one of them comes with different forms of the verb to be. In the present tense, the verb to be takes the following forms: am, is, and are. To make a sentence in the present continuous, here's what you need to do. First, you simply add the verb to be right after the subject. Remember, different subjects come with different forms of the verb to be. The subject I goes with am, the singular group goes with is, while the plural one goes with are. Then you need a main verb for the sentence. Let's say we use the verb it in this case. In the present continuous, we simply add ing behind the main verb eat. So, the full sentence becomes I am eating lunch. He, she, it is eating lunch. We, you, they are eating lunch. It's really simple, isn't it? Next, if you like to switch a sentence from its affirmative form to negative form, it's also quite simple. Let me show you how to do it. First, you just need to write the sentences which are exactly the same as in their affirmative form. In this case, we have I am eating lunch. He, she, it is eating lunch. And we, you, they are eating lunch. Then, you just simply add the word not right after the verb to be. So, what do we have in the end? I am not eating lunch. He, she, it is not eating lunch. We, you, they are not eating lunch. Remember, the short form of is not is isn't, and the short form of are not is aren't. Piece of cake, right? Finally, I'm going to show you how easy it is to use the question form. One more time, all you need to do is just to write down the sentences which are exactly the same as in their affirmative form. Then you only need to switch the positions of the subject and the verb to be. For example, in this case of the sentence, I am eating lunch, we only need to switch the positions of I and am. Then we're gonna have a question, am I eating lunch? Remember, this is a question after all, so we have to remove the period and replace it by a question mark. Then it's all done. Similarly, we can do the same for the other two examples. The positions of the subject, he, she, it, and the verb to be will be switched. Therefore, we're gonna have a question, is he, she, it eating lunch? How about the last question? It will be, are we, you, they eating lunch? After switching. Okay, now you know all three forms of the present continuous. Do you know when you should use it? Well, we often use the present continuous to talk about something happening now. For example, she's making some notes. That's what she's doing at the moment. Secondly, we use the present continuous to talk about a situation which is changing or developing. For instance, your English is improving. That means your English is becoming better and better. Something is changing and developing with your English. Next, we use the present continuous to talk about an activity which is in progress but not exactly now. For example, she's studying chemistry in Oxford. Perhaps at this moment she's not studying chemistry. However, she is in the progress of doing that. She's probably a full-time student at Oxford and her major is chemistry. She needs to study chemistry for about 4 years. Finally, we use the present continuous to talk about a temporary situation as well. For instance, he's living in a student hostel while he's in England. That means he only lives in a student hostel temporarily while he's in England. If he's not in England, he may not live there. That's it for today's lesson. In the next lecture, you're going to practice more with these two common tenses, present simple and present continuous. I see you in the next video.